So anyhow, never thought I'd ever be doing this, but I guess I will be doing this, huh? So recently, this gal's made a reappearance back on the scene of the dating scene. This time, not in a so good of light. Okay, so let me give you a little rundown here. This gal is best known as Cassie Dill, who now is married and going by Cassie West. See, this gal here used to run around with a clique of her own friends and groups, doing videos up on YouTube. She used to speak out against feminism. She literally did. And spoke out sort of towards men and equal rights and so on back in the day. Okay? And she was going to all these political events. And one day she even came up on when I was holding the Blog Talk, TFL Blog Talk show, my radio show, Blog Talk Radio. Okay? That I did for about 5 years. Cassie Dill actually came on the show once, okay? And I stuck up for Cassie when she was under attack before, because the stuff that was happening was wrong. So I stood up for her. Okay? And I openly did that in video. Okay? But here I am on the opposite end of the shoes now, huh? Yeah. Because, see, corruption is corruption. Wrong is wrong. Right is right. Okay? And what I'm seeing here going on by her, well, it opens my eyes to a lot of things, like even back in the day. Yep. The real reason she was frequenting the events. But I'll go into that here a little bit more in a minute. But first off, let me finish saying what I was saying back in the day. See, back in the day, we had issues going around this country with children having lemonade stands or Kool-Aid stands in the summertime, which has gone on forever, and cities shutting down children from doing this. Yeah, attacking your children and saying that people had to have a permit, a permission slip from the owner to sell lemonade as a child or Kool-Aid, okay, from your front yard. No. But so Cassie, well, she found herself hooked up with Lou Podolsky, We Are Change. And she made herself up onto Reuters. That's right, RT. And I remember watching that, and she was going to be across the street from the Capitol in Washington, D.C., there up in Maryland, and she was going to set up a lemonade stand in the park. So that's what she done. And the reporter at that time on Reuters, while they were reporting about this, asked Lou Podolsky if he was going to be there. And it just happened on a weekend, right? We were scheduled for. And he said, yeah, he's going to be there. Well, that day came, and Cassie and her crew showed up, the cameras were rolling, and guess who didn't show up? Lou Podolsky. But guess who did show up? Law enforcement. Guess who went to jail? Cassie and her crew. After that happened, because she was set up by Lou Podolsky, that's why Lou Podolsky wasn't there, because Lou Podolsky already knew what was coming down. Cassie didn't. She was set up. Lou Podolsky exposed himself. Now we know We Are Change works with the elite. It's on board, part of the establishment. But long story short, that's what happened back in the day. Well, I'm watching this here, and I see Cassie's got her husband next to her, and she's got kids. And you see the name of the title. Is this broke dude gonna make it someday and provide? Okay? And provide. How to spot a provider. She might as well say, how to spot a walking ATM machine. How to spot, okay, Bank of America. How to spot Morgan Chase. How to spot a banker. Yeah, that's what she might as well be saying. How to use. That's right. Hey, that fits into today's society. It's all about usury. Yep, divide and conquer. So let me tell you something about provider, Cassie. A gender role, which is a man-made construct brought to you by the elite, I have nothing against back in the olden days, long time ago, before feminism, when women wasn't in the workplace and women were at home raising the kids and the guys worked and the guys provided and supported the family. Okay? I got nothing against that, and I think that was a really good idea and concept at the time. Because at the time, a guy could make a decent living, and that was just about anybody that worked, and it didn't matter what career they were doing. They all made a decent living and could live. But that time's been many, 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 many eons ago, okay? And don't exist no more. Now we're in days where feminism came in that she used to speak up against for divide and conquer, to finish destroying the family unit. No-fault divorce came in, giving the women all more perks, where the women have now been in bed and married the bankers and the government. Yep. Cassie knows all about that by the name of this video. Marrying the tool that's keeping you enslaved, that's taken all of your rights and freedoms away from you, that's destroyed our society. And Cassie, while she's being a useful tool here, a useful idiot, and she's helping to keep the problem alive and healthy. I'm sure the elite love her for it because she's helping to keep the cause that's bringing down our country, as we're living in the fall of Rome right now times. We are. America's going down. The fall of Rome. Study the fall of Rome and pay attention to what was going on then and pay attention to what's going on now. Oh, yeah. It's in your face. Anyhow, I digress on that. But the point is this. Back in eons ago, when it was justified, nowadays that's not possible. Unless the guy's already what? A doctor, a really high-paid attorney, a movie star, yeah, are making one hell of a lot of money. Now let's just think about what Cassie said here. She bragged him up. She bragged while she's with this guy up. It's based on usury. See, this simp that she's married to, that's what he'd be, as a simp. Okay? He hooked up with her when she already had a kid by another man. He paid for her to move from the state she was in to the state she was in with him, to where he was at. He paid for the apartment she moved into. That's right, he paid her full expenses of the move and paid for the apartment for her to move into and helped keep the apartment while she tried to get on her feet, plus take care of himself in his own place. Talk about expecting a lot from somebody. Yeah. I got a news flash, Cassie. Man-made construct, gender roles. That's what that is. In today's society, this is not eons ago, it don't apply. What Cassie's doing here is trying to tell young girls to shit on thousands of guys for no reason other than they're not a walking ATM machine. They're not a bank. They're not the very thing that's keeping us enslaved. See, money is the root of all evil. And Cassie's showing you what evil is about. Evil is about judging people. Now, in the manosphere, I can understand where there's going to be a lot of slack coming down on these men, because a lot of these men in the manosphere deserve it. Okay? And I hate to say it, but they do. They deserve it. But the problem wasn't created by accident. I've been over this so many times. Okay? The problem between the genders was deliberately created and handed down to you by your elite. Deliberately. To destroy. So, that's exactly what it's done, see? Now, if Cassie were still with the first guy that she had the kid by, and had other kids with this guy, and she was still with him all these years later, I would applaud her. But I can't applaud her because she's not with that first guy. See, that guy she threw away. That's right. She once again used me. I'm sure they just used each other and she got PG. And of course she kept the kid. that I'm sure she's used as a control mechanism over the guy that's actual the father. Oh yeah, see behind the scenes, that's what you'd see going on. Okay? The reality is Cassie is showing that she's a gold digger. She actually believes, based on the penis between your legs when you're born, that somehow, in some sick way, a guy with a penis owes females a living. Well, I got a big shock for you, Cassie. No, they don't. Never have and never will. But you're going to say, yeah, I'm going to ask Cassie this. What do you bring to the relationship, Cassie? What are you bringing to this? Oh, what I see, I'm bringing my good looks. And, well, he's getting lucky. I'm having sex with him. And because of me, he's got children because he couldn't have children without me. Is that what you're going to say, Cassie? And I got a news flash for you on that one, too. Without him, you couldn't have kids. Without a him. And I'm not specifically saying the guy you're with. See, in the laws of physics and natural without no scientific or medical help, it takes a girl and a guy and a man to create life, Cassie. Half of the DNA in them children belong to the man. And you couldn't have buried a kid without that man. You could be a girl that could have a baby one day if you could ever get pregnant. See, this is based on complete usury, which is what the elite want. Why do you think she gave the title she gave to you, okay? So what it really should say is this bankrupt bank going to make it someday and provide? How to spot the appropriate ATM machine. How to spot a bank. How to spot usury. How to spot a gold digger. There it is, right in your face. How to spot somebody who's deluded and out of their damn mind. Nobody owes you a living, Cassie. Nobody. I'm sorry, this ain't back eons ago when women wasn't in the job. Now there's more women are earning men. Now, for the majority of men don't make enough to do what you want. The majority. Not the minority, but the majority. That's right. So your advice is going to leave more TFL. Then you'll blame them, won't you? You'll blame them. They can be focused on their goals and they can go get a career in a society that's about to take all of your jobs from you. That's right. Don't believe me? Watch and see, Cassie. See, I've been watching Agenda 21 playing out for a little over a year now. Right in your face. If you're not aware of what Agenda 21 is, you're going to say it's a conspiracy theory. Well, I suppose the United Nations is a conspiracy theory. We know if anybody thought there was the United Nations, they'd have to be a complete nut job. I think if anybody thought there was some organization called NASA, you'd have to be a nut job. If there was another organization called the Military Industrial Complex, you'd have to be a nut job. See, asleep people. Sound asleep. Hasn't the first clue of what's going down in this world. So the news flash will be they're bringing in the fourth industrial revolution along with NWO right now. That's the real reason the invisible enemy is here. That is the root cause, okay? They're using a fraudulent test for what it's being used for is complete fraud. Every time they give you one of them tested, they're committing another case of fraud. And they know they are. But I digress. I'll jump back off that topic that can be backed up a billion times over. Okay, but I will say this to Cassie. See, you're not going to be allowed to own nothing. You do understand that, right, Cassie? You may think you own what you have right now, but you got a royal surprise coming to you. Because with people like you, the elite's going to win, dude. I mean, I hate to say it. With people like this, the elite win, and we, the people of this world, lose. And when we lose because of people like this person is going to get a worldwide awakening with a big slap across their greedy face. That's what's going to happen to her. Her greedy, gold-digging face is going to come to an end. Because, see, we are in Rome right now, the great fall of Rome. That's America. No lie, we are. And anybody that can't see that is still sound asleep. You can hurl any kind of insult you want at me. I don't care. Because I'm telling the truth. And you're going to find it out the hard way. And I won't feel sorry for you at that point neither. Because I don't know how you're going to handle it when you find out you got to rent what you already own. When you find out you ain't allowed to own nothing. That's right, not your TV set, not your microwave, not your refrigerator, not your stove, not your car. Oh, and when they do away with your gasoline and make you go electric, and you suddenly can't travel no more, oh, don't be surprised. And maybe you'll be lucky enough after they're through crashing your currency and flipping you over to digital and having a few bank holidays and practicing a Cassie on you. That's right, they're going to practice a Cassie on Cassie as they chase after her wealth and take it from her. And who are they? How the 13 families, the ones that own all the monetary systems. The Rothschild dynasty who openly told everybody publicly that they do not give their money to anybody. I mean, this is Rothschild's own words. We own the money. We own the paper and the ink that's printed on it. We give it to nobody. Although, however, we will allow you to borrow our money in return for your labor. And we will give you forgiveness out of the borrowed money we pay you for your labor for perishables. In other words, food, water, drink, so on. Anything else that you buy out of that, their borrowed money that don't belong to you, because they don't give it to nobody, by default belongs to us. Now, do you think I'm joking about that? No, that came out of Rothschild's mouth. You think he wasn't serious about that? You better go wake your ass up. He was dead serious about it. And if you look around you right now, you didn't accidentally lose all these businesses because of an invisible enemy. There was no accident about it. It's deliberate. Okay? And this has only just begun. You ain't seen nothing yet, Cassie. They got a lot of evil in store. Major population reduction. The shutdown of all small businesses and independent businesses. The only companies left corporations. Total control over everybody and nobody allowed to own nothing. Oh, you don't think they won't go there? Yeah, they will, because people like you, Cassie, are going to help them get there. Because you're not smart enough to figure out that we have to stand together right now. And we can't stand together when you're out here talking this way. What you're doing right now is causing TFL to get bigger. That's right, Cassie. That's what you're doing right now. You're creating more men that'll never have nobody in their life based on what? A man-made construct. I don't care how much of that tool you got, how much of that money you got. Money can't buy happiness, people. She's living an illusion. She's in a bubble. And you can tell she's in a bubble. She got to do is pay attention to what she's pushing. Sound asleep, in a bubble. In a delusional world, thinking that they're magically owed their living because of a gender role that was a man-made construct. That I would agree to back in the day. I wouldn't agree to that now. No, not when women are already men. And when so many men will never be on the tier she's looking for because she thinks the guy has to be an ATM machine. No guy owes you, Cassie. No guy. No. See, Cassie, this is the way it is. A man and a woman like each other for who each other is, not what you can get from them. In today's society, it's about what we can get from each other, which is usury. Cassie's as big of a user, if not a bigger user, than the guy she's with. The guy she's with currently is nothing but a simp. And he's going to bend over backwards and try to do her every bacon call, thinking that's what makes him a man. That ain't what makes him a man. He's failing to be a man by not corralling a gold digger. See, we owe it to each other as human beings to be there for each other and to look after each other and to take care of each other. Okay, on a whole. And if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, we owe it to each other to take the time to get to know each other and like each other for who each other is, not who we want them to be. And to make such ridiculous demands. To say, is this broke dude going to make it someday and provide? No, I hope he never provides for any of you females, ever. None of you. See, but you won't have to worry about that because you're going to help them get their population reduction. You're going to find out it's illegal to appropriate. You're going to find out you're not allowed to raise your own kids no more. So I hope your kids ain't super young because they'll come and take them from you. Or you'll have to have a really good social credit score, yeah, in order to keep them. They'll need to be raised by the state, you see, Cassie, so that they can be brainwashed properly. Even though you're not going to do your daughter any good anyhow. You're just going to do nothing but mess up your daughter. Because your daughter's going to grow up in a world where there is no work. Where NWO is going to destroy her life. And then mommy helped destroy her life because she's going to think magically some guy owes her something that no guy ever owed her. Well, if you want the time of day, well, I'll tell you what. I think that what we should do just to put a stop to this BS right here is we should go ahead and neuter every single boy that's ever born. Worldwide. Yeah, I think that would fix him just right. I mean, after all, guy couldn't have a kid without you, right, Cassie? So there's no point of, I mean, we might as well fix this. The guy ain't having a kid. I mean, it's Cassie. We wouldn't want some broke dude to have a kid, right? And we wouldn't want some broke female to have a kid with a guy who she perceives as a bank, as an ATM machine. Pathetic. At least now I know why you were going to your rallies, Cassie. That's why you wound up with Lou Podolsky. You were gold digging. And he knew you was gold digging, so he set you up. Maybe you had that one coming to you, Cassie. Maybe that was one that was well deserved. You probably had it coming to you. Since you think you're something you're not, based on something you're not keeping, your looks. Oh, I ain't got him and I'm young. I'm gonna use as many people as I can. How long are you gonna be with this guy, Cassie? Before you decide that. I mean, in some ways, I'm glad all this shit that's coming into society's coming in. Because that's what's going to have to happen to stop this mentality like Cassie has. She's going to have to get a rude awakening to realize she's actually abusing other men and blaming them for the abuse she's hurling at them. She's not owed nothing. She needs to learn how to grow the fuck up and take care of herself. Excuse my language, but that's the reality slapped in your face, Cassie. He don't owe you a living. You owe him as much as he owes you. And you both owe them kids, with the exception of one. That'd be the guy you threw away, right, Cassie? You know, that hamburger wrapper you crumbed up that was a human being and threw him away and didn't care how you hurt him. And the more you hurt him, the bigger you felt. Gives you an ego trip, boosts your ego, makes you feel all tough and big because you hurt another human being. You wonder why the manosphere is so messed up? Because of behavior like this. Because as you heard her straight up, I mean, she says the guy's working at Burger King. There ain't no girl that ever wants to date a guy who's working at Burger King. Like as if every guy's going to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer or blah, 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 blah. See, chasing after the two again. The very thing that has destroyed our society. The very reason the elite are winning. See, she has to have the reason that the elite are winning. And because she absolutely has to have the reason the elite are winning, she's going to find out she'll have none of it when it's all said and done. She's going to find out that her gender don't mean shit to them. That somehow she's not a goddess no more. She's been lowered down to peasant scale, peasant level, yes. And she's going to be so upset that she was turned into a peasant with the rest of the peasants. A cow, a pig, a cattle, you know. That's what we are. We're sheep. We're goats. We're pigs. We're horses. That's right. We're cows. We're on the farm. The human farm. To your owners. That's right. Your owners. Your God. Money. Yep. Okay, well, I guess that's about all I got to say, but the reality is a slap in the face right here. Cassie Dill, the Gold Digger. Cassie West. Cassie / Dill / West, the Gold Digger here. I hate to say this about her, but she's given me no choice, man. She's up here making videos in the manosphere. Now she's up here telling young girls this BS about a provider and how to spot a provider. So now she's going to tell them how to spot an ATM machine, how to use. How to be a user. How to be scum. How I could be a parasite on society. How I could help practice divide and conquer. How I could look down on another gender and think that somehow I'm some magical snowflake. Okay, no, you're not a magical snowflake. Not at all. And neither are the guys you're putting down. I can understand the anger in the manosphere from these type of behaviors. Because if it was completely turned around, she would be furious. If this was completely turned around and the guy got up here and was talking to the young guys, how the females need to provide, she would be pissed. She would be calling them just exactly what she's saying here. She even complained in this video about a guy allowing the girl to work, and he's working and supporting, and how wrong that is. But somehow how magically right it is the other way around. Newsflash, it's not right either way around. Don't matter. No, there's no favoritism to your gender, Cassie. No, there's not. No double standards and favoritism to your gender, Cassie. And you're about to have a real rude awakening. Oh, believe me, you are. Your kids won't even hit a dot before your awakening happens. Because the last year, a little over a year now, with the invisible enemy, isn't about your health. It's about bringing in their agendas. All of the documentation, all the evidence that anybody ever could need. I mean, there's semis and semis load of factual evidence. Because they always said they were going to tell us what they were going to do, and they were going to do it, and we would do nothing about it. And that's exactly what they've done. They even provide their own documents for the public, if you know where to go to find it. And all you'd have to do is read it and sit back and pay attention to what's going on in society, like with Agenda 21. Read the documentation right off of the United Nations. Pay attention to who Bill Gates is. Pay attention to who Anthony Fauci really is. Pay attention to what these people are doing and what's going on in society, and start looking back at Agenda 21 and start reading and start looking and start paying attention to what's going on and Pretty soon you'll see, oh my God, it's really happening. Yeah, because it was never a conspiracy theory. All of your leaders have been screaming it at you and telling you it openly in your face for years, and you turned your head, ignored what they said, and called anybody that parroted what they said a nut. But them. Now here we are where we're at. And what's happening here? Right in the middle of all this? The one person I never expected would ever jump into the dating scene again has jumped in, and not for the right reason, but to keep the elite's agenda of divide and conquer alive. And she's actually trying to teach other young girls that men are banks. So she's teaching them that men somehow magically owe them in a world where women are actually out earning men. Where there's more women employed than there is men. Where it was the majority of men's jobs in the United States that was outsourced. And if the only guys that deserve to have a female in their life is based on a man-made construct called money, the tool that's kept you enslaved, if these guys have to have all of this so you can do nothing, but tell them what they can and can't do, and take their money to make and spend it however you want, that's right up usury. That's just flat out in your face usury. And then you're going to cuss about some guy taking a woman's money while you're busy taking theirs. You think you're a magic snowflake, huh? Well, you're not. This is what makes me say, let the bombs fall. Let them bring it in. It couldn't happen to a better society of people that are brainless and clueless of what's going on around them. She may think she's not brainless and clueless to what's going on around her, but her own action speaks differently. See, actions speak louder than words any day of the week. Always have and always will. And what's playing out in society is actions by people who intend and are dead serious for what they want. And that's what's been going on right in people's face. And when you're trying to get people to see it and get people to start working together and standing together, you're trying to get men and women back together communicating again. And to get them to see the real truth, then you get this kind of corruption from a female that comes up here. That just plays right back into the shit that's caused all of our problems. From the female side, I'm not excusing men's behaviors whatsoever. There are a lot of toxic men out here, and I'm not going to say anything different other than this has never been one-sided. The war on women has always been a lie. It's been war on men, not women. It's never been on women. When you say it's been on women, right in the middle of the war on women, and you know how suppressed women were? Women were so suppressed and pushed down by men that the man dropped to his knees and begged his slave and asked the slave to marry him. Now make sense out of that. Why would the guy be on his knees to his slave if this female was so suppressed, so depressed and pushed down? That's because that's always been a fairy tale, fantasy, an illusion, a mirage. It's never been real. It's been a hologram. Okay? Everything is upside down in this world. Everything. And I'm not lying. And that's why Cassie pushes this message, because she's not awake. She actually believes that somehow when they're born with a penis, their life is destroyed if they're not a bank. So I think maybe when they're born, we should stamp First National Bank or Bank of Amigo on their head or Morgan and Chase on their head. And if the bankers say, no, this one's not allowed, then kill it. I guess the best option would be, since we want to work with the elite, Cassie, and you want to be that way, then let's work with the elite. They want their population reduction, and they want to control the population to never have the number rise above again. So I'm going to throw this idea out there to the elite. Shouldn't it be mandatory that from now on, worldwide, whenever a baby boy is born, that it's neutered immediately? That's right. I don't want to hear any complaints about them. No women will be able to have a baby. Because after all, so many of you women say that you don't need a guy to have a baby. that the baby's yours. It was never his. It's all yours. Yours came out my body. It's mine. Once his semen entered my body, it became mine. It's mine, mine, mine. Well, it's never been yours. It's been both. See how fucked up in the head, excuse my language, people are? So messed up. They forgot what being a human is. Look at her. She's looking down on other human beings, guys, and judging them by a man-made construct that's kept everybody enslaved and destroyed our world. And this is how they're winning. Because they could buy everybody out. Cassie'd be easily bought. Oh, yeah. You let some guy come along that's making twice as much, 3 times as much, 4 times as much as the guy she's with, and she'll throw him away so fast his head will swim. Oh, yes, she will. And she'll use that government and that no-fault divorce right to her advantage and steal as much as she can from him while she moves up. And she'll say, I'm moving on up. Yep. And usury. Right back to more usury. And meanwhile, she wouldn't care how bad she cursed the guy she's with. Oh, right now it'd be very easy for her to say that's not true. It'd be very easy. It'd be like Brittany. Brittany, oh no, I'm blah, blah, blah. And fucking 2, 3 years later, she suddenly, what she said she'd never do, she done. That ain't no different here. Because, see, Cassie based this guy on his money. So what is she going to do when everything's gone and only corporations are left and he's not allowed to continue what he's doing and his income goes out the door? What is she going to do then? Oh, that's right. It'll be all his fault that he's not making any of that too, and he's got a penis between his legs, so he should be a bank. Yep. And I hate to say it, but it's true. It would only take somebody come along making 2, 3 times more than her current guy she's with, and she'd throw him away in a heartbeat because she proved it. What's it about? What did she do in this video? She actually told you. The guy owes the woman a living. That's what she literally said. She said it's about what I can get from you. It's not about liking you for who you are. And didn't even know that's what she's saying. Oh, she can disguise that with, well, I love him. Yeah, you love what he's providing for you. You couldn't say any different because look at the video you've made, Cassie. The evidence is in your face. We know now who Cassie Dill really is. And that makes me say, wow, you probably did have it coming to you. You were probably chasing Lou Podolsky, wasn't you? You thought you could hook up with him and have a little bit of fame and he had a lot of money. Yeah. And he let you on TV, man. He set you right up, didn't he? Yeah, sure did. And then he got you put in jail and never showed up, never from the beginning. You ran, didn't you? You got hurt, you got let down, you got to go visit the Hokey Pokey and Crossbar Motel, and now here you are this many years later doing what? Disgusting. All I can say, Cassie, is wake the hell up. The only thing you're doing is helping to secure the fall of America. That's the only thing you're doing. You're making sure divide and conquer happens and the TFL goes on, and you're going to blame the guys you're doing this to? No, it's not them guys, it's you. And it's women like you. It's not the guys, it's you. You can call them losers, you're freaking dead in the face, but your idea of a loser is based on what? What you've been brainwashed to believe. Complete nonsense. Says the majority of everything you ever learned in your life, Cassie, was a complete lie. And that was all of us. No discrimination involved there. Every last one of us worldwide, the majority of us, all our lives, have been lied to. The majority of everything you learned was a lie. Knowledge has been withheld to be used against us. The monetary systems of this world, which is your money, is in the private hands of 13 families globally. They are the ones who decide, and what Rothschild said about the money is no lie. It's fact. And they mean it. They're not lying about that. And that's not far off in your future, Cassie. Your kids don't have a future. No, they don't. Their future's gone. It was robbed away. The same as you're going to lose everything you got. Will be robbed away from you, Cassie. Because you're not awake enough to see what's going on. And you're just deluded enough to keep the problem going. See, men and women alike are human beings. Men and women alike both have emotions, feelings, wants, and needs. And as a human being, what the man is, because if he was somehow less than a human, then she couldn't have gave birth to him. Okay, your gender don't place you, and I don't give a shit. Excuse my language, but no guy's above no woman, and no woman's above no guy. We're all human beings, and we all need each other. And we all need to learn how to treat each other. And nobody owes nobody nothing based on something that's destroyed our society, that's destroyed our world. And there you are preaching the very thing that's getting everybody dead and that's allowed what's going on to come in right now. And I don't care how asleep you are and how nuts you say I am, I'm not. I actually know what the hell I'm talking about. And it disgusts me to see this type of behavior on her. You'd never know in a million years this gal used to stand there and talk about feminism and stand up for men. You would never know she ever done that. Because somewhere along the way, she fell and hit her head, or that was just all an act, wasn't it, Cassie? You never meant any of it, did you? You said the opposite of what you meant, didn't you, Cassie? Because that's the only thing I can think of after seeing what you've been doing in the manosphere recently. And you're shooting down guys. I understand the manosphere is very messed up with a lot of messed up guys in it. But then I guess you'd be just as messed up if you had to walk in the guy's shoes and have the shit happen to you that's been happening to them by females like you. Just think, you could be born with that penis. You didn't have no say-so. You could come up and find out that all the jobs that pay anything are taken, and it's harder than hell to get a good job. You could strive to try to prove your career, but if you're not making enough of a tool, see, no. You're supposed to be with somebody because you like them. You're supposed to work together, and if it's a struggle to make it to the day, you must struggle to make it. It's the way it is. You're supposed to work together. It's not supposed to be all about him. No, and it's not supposed to be all about you. You're not his provider, but he's not your provider. There is no provider in today's society based on a gender. If you want a provider again, Cassie, then you better go back eons ago before feminism, before all of this stuff, to where every guy out there, pretty much 90% of all men had a woman in their life. Okay, 90% of all men could go get any job that they could do and still make a good living to support both their wife, their children, and them. Them days have been gone forever, Cassie. And you're going to slam other men for not being successful in a world competition where we're all competing against each other, and only very few ever make enough. And make enough of what? A man-made construct and no care. The real cremation of care. The only care you have is for your own selfishness. And that's an epidemic that's destroyed this world. Because people don't know how to have care for other people they don't even know. You couldn't talk like a human being to these guys, could you? No. What'd you say? Okay, this broke dude. Broke. He's not an ATM machine. I'm sorry, but that's just so wrong. You're attacking innocent guys that's never done a fucking thing, and then you're telling these fucking guys that they're supposed to do this and be able to provide for. You're giving them a fairy tale. You're not even living in reality. In a time that we need to be standing together, you're up here creating more division. Disgust me.